Cooking with plants, vegan made easy.
I'm actually going to show you how to cook soup in the air fryer. A lot of people get very scared that there's going to be liquid in here, that it's going to be circulating in the air fryer and doing something very crazy and it's going to break your air fryer, but it really does not. It just heats up like it would if you put something with wet ingredients or liquid into an oven. So it's totally safe and it's totally delicious, and I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy Asian miso noodle soup. So basically I'm just going to use this pan that comes with the air fryer, but if you wanted to make a smaller amount you could make it in a little bowl or a ready to serve cup, totally up to you. So what I'm actually using, instead of the broccoli that's in the recipe in the ebook that comes with the course, I'm going to use some edamame beans just because that's what I had in the freezer and that's what I feel like having today. Same amount, same quantity as the broccoli, but I'm just using the edamame, or you could even use some frozen peas if you wanted to. And then I've got some broken up rice noodles. So this is great for using up the little bits that are often in the bottom of your rice noodles. If you have them sitting in the cupboard, they tend to break and snap, and it's perfect for this soup. So I'm just going to pour those in as well. Then I've got some shiitake mushrooms. These were fresh shiitake mushrooms that I've just chopped up ready for this soup, but you could also use dried and just rehydrate them and pour the liquid off. I even like to use that liquid instead of vegetable broth, and it just adds a really hearty flavor to things like sauces and soups. So even if you wanted to use the liquid in here and you've got soaked mushrooms, then go ahead and use it in your soup. It's really delicious. So I've got those mushrooms going in. They just have a really lovely meaty texture, and I love that in this soup. Then I'm adding just a handful of chopped up tofu, just little tofu pieces. By making them small, it actually absorbs more of the flavor while you're cooking it, so I like to have the small pieces in there. And then I've also got some nori sheets. So these are just the yakinori that you would use to make sushi rolls, and I have chopped them up into small pieces, and I'm just going to put those on there as well. Probably would have been a little bit better to put those on the bottom so they don't float to the top, but that's okay. And then about a tablespoon of tamari. Tamari is just gluten-free soy sauce, or you could use Bragg's aminos or coconut aminos. And then I'm adding some garlic powder and some onion flakes. And sometimes I just add a slice of ginger as well, but I don't actually have any on hand today, and I usually just pull that out at the end, but it does add a nice flavor. And then I'm going to add some nutritional yeast flakes. These are optional, but they do add a really nice savory boost to this soup, not sauce. And then I'm going to add some white pepper, just a few dashes of that. And my favorite, chili flakes. Totally optional. If you don't like hot, spicy food, leave it out. But if you like spice like me, add it in. And then I'm going to leave the miso paste till right at the end. I'm going to mix it through at the end because it's basically cultured, and you don't want to kill the cultures that are in it. It does good things for your gut bacteria, and we don't want to kill it off. So I just like to mix that through once the soup is actually cooked. Now I'm adding some liquid in here. I have some vegetable stock that I've got. You could just use plain water, but definitely using some vegetable stock adds that extra brothiness, that extra richness to the soup. Okay, and then I just give this a quick stir through. I'm going to try to get that nori mixed through so it doesn't just sit on the top. Oh, it's smelling really good already and it hasn't even cooked. Okay. And then I'm going to pop this into the air fryer. Again with my aluminium sling so I can pull it out easy later on. And then just fold that over. Fold those edges over so they don't hit the top. And then just slide it carefully, carefully into the air fryer. And then I've set this to 180 or about 355, 360 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to turn that on for 15 minutes. While it's cooking, I'm going to pack all my mess away. So don't be afraid to check on your food during cooking time as well. Just gently open it and then you can see what's happening in there. That's perfectly fine, and if you want to give this a stir through now, you could do it now. Totally up to you. Yay, the 15 minutes is up. So I'm just going to gently take this out very carefully. And you can see that has cooked up nicely already. But I'm just going to give it a little bit of a stir through just to give those mushrooms a little bit more of a chance to cook through and to really soften them up. And also if you have the broccoli in here, just to give that more of a chance to cook through as well. But really this is already ready to go and ready to eat. But I'm just going to give that a stir and then put it back in for another 5 minutes or so. Smells so delicious. So with a digital air fryer, you're going to have to wait for this timer to end. If you want to turn it off earlier, then turn it off at the power point. So just like that, that will actually stop it, but you'll still hear the timer running. But that's okay, just let it run to the end. Don't force it or you could break it. If you want more control, then I suggest a digital option is best for you because you can then reset it for different times. So to turn it back on, just flick your power point back on and it will continue cooking. Waiting, 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 waiting. Woohoo! Lunch is ready. It smells so delicious. Just have to be careful doing this backwards. Okay, so this soup is looking really, really delicious. I'm just going to carefully lift this aluminium sling up to lift this out. And I don't want it to break. It feels a little bit fragile. Okay. So I'm just going to carefully, it's really, really hot, carefully center this and then lift it out. But you could just leave it in there and let it cool in there as well. But I'm just lifting this out to show you this delicious soup. Oh, it smells so good. And it's so easy. You just put everything in there, walk away, and your soup is done. You have a delicious, hot, steamy soup, plant-based goodness. And I've also got some miso paste. I put anywhere from half a tablespoon to a tablespoon, depending on who's eating it. Some people in my household, such as my son, he prefers a little bit more of that salty taste. So I put a tablespoon in there of that, but it's totally up to you how much of that you want to add in. And especially given that there's already tamari in there as well, it's quite a salty broth. But hot and delicious, and you can see those noodles are cooked through. The mushrooms are going to add just a nice meaty bite. You've got tofu and edamame for some beautiful protein goodness, and a little bit of spice as well from the chili and pepper. I'm very excited to have this for my lunch actually. So I hope you actually try this recipe or make some of your own soups and then share some of the photos with me, because I would really love to see what soup creations you come up with in the air fryer.